Genesis chapter 42, verse 10. And they said unto him, No, my lord, but to buy food are your servants come. We are all one man's sons. We are true men. Your servants are no spies. And he said unto them, No, but to see the nakedness of the land you are come. And they said, Your servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest in this day with our father, and one is not. And Joseph said unto them, That is it that I spoke unto you, saying, You are spies. Hereby you shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh you shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Notes, reasoning that Jacob had probably transferred the birthright to Benjamin, he wanted to know the attitude of these men towards Benjamin. So he devises a little test for them. Verse 16, Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and you shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved whether they be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh surely you are spies. And he put them all together into ward 3 days. Notes, Likewise, Israel will be put under tremendous pressure by the Antichrist for a little over 3 years. And as a side note and a personal note, once again, you are seeing the beginning of these wars right now. Verse 14. And Joseph said unto them the 3rd day, This do and live, for I fear God. Notes, what must these men have thought when Joseph mentions Elohim, the God of the Hebrews? All of this had to be extremely strange to them, because they knew that Elohim was little known, if at all, outside of their respective family. Verse 19, If you be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go you, carry grain for the famine of your houses. Notes, now Joseph begins to soften his demands, in that he at first stated that 9 of the brothers would remain in Egypt, while one was sent to fetch Benjamin. But now he limits that to just 1 remaining in Egypt, while the 9 go back home. Verse 20, But bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified, and you shall not die. And they did so. Notes, when they return, Benjamin must be with them. Verse 21, And he said one to another, We are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. Notes, as Israel in a coming sad day, of which they are actually a type, the brothers of Joseph are called to pass through deep and searching trial, though intensely painful, exercises of conscience, I should say. Conscious. Oh, they got knocked out or something. I always seem to get those words a little bit confused. Verse 22, And Reuben answered them, saying, Did I not speak unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child, and you would not hear? Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. Notice, after all these years, their consciences still bother them, and rightly so. Sin can only be forgotten when it is properly forgiven by the Lord, and it cannot be properly forgiven until one properly confesses to the Lord. Verse 23, And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spoke unto them by an interpreter. Notes, now he did actually understand them quite well. I think this trick he's pulling is really actually kind of funny in a way. Verse 24, Never mind my humor. And he turned himself about from them and wept, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took them from Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. Notes, why Simeon was chosen, we are really not told. He could have been the ringleader in the terrible sin that had been committed against Joseph those long years earlier. Verse 25, Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with grain, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way, and thus did he unto them. Notes. Now this coincides with the sustenance that the Lord will give Israel during the Great Tribulation. You can read that in Revelation chapter 12, verse 6. Verse 26. And they loaded their asses with the grain and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender in the inn, he found his money, for behold, it was in his sack's mouth. Notes. In other words, it was easily found. Verse 28. And he said unto his brethren, My money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, What is this that God has done unto us? Notes. Actually, they were right. It was God who was guiding these events, giving Joseph instructions all along the way as to how he could handle the situation. However, because of their sin, a sin committed probably about 20 years before, they were thinking of God in a very negative way. And sadly, it is no different presently. Verse 29. And they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, The man who is the Lord of the land spoke roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. And we said unto him, We are true men, we are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father. One is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the Lord of the country, said unto us, Hereby shall I know that you are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother unto me. Then shall I know that you are no spies, but that you are true men. So will I deliver you your brother, and you shall traffic in the land. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, turning the page now, they were sore afraid. Notes. From the terminology used by these men at the present time, it is obvious that a change has taken place in their lives. However, it is a change that is not quite yet complete. Verse 36. And Jacob their father said unto them, Me have you bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and you will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. Notes. Jacob thinks that Joseph is dead, and likewise Israel thinks that Jesus is dead, denying that he rose from the dead. How unusual that fact is, that the Jewish people have all this history around them, and yet they don't even think that Jesus died, and yet it's been historically proven that he actually did in their own land. There is a judicial blindness to that, and we'll get to that much later. Verse 37. And Reuben spoke unto his father, saying, Kill my 2 sons, if I bring him, who is Benjamin, not to you. Deliver him unto my hand, and I will bring him to you again. And he said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in the which you go, then shall you bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Notes. This verse speaks of Jacob's great sorrow. The Great Tribulation period is called the time of Jacob's trouble. But then it says, But he shall be saved out of it. Look at Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. Likewise, Jacob will be saved out of this sorrow. We will pick up in Genesis chapter 43. Thank you once again, and come back again. You hear?